What is up, my beautiful Sabronis? This is a solo edition of the Sabo Standard podcast. It's been a while since we've been doing this all alone. It's almost weird. It's almost weird just to talk me to you people without Scott blabbing in the way. Scott has been relieved of his duties. He has been fired. Unfortunately, he's just on vacation. He is currently driving through the great state of Montana, or the great states, I guess, of Montana, Idaho, I guess Washington, back through Idaho, maybe in Montana again. He will be back next week, and we will get his thoughts on all the great topics that we are discussing this evening. And this evening, we're going to focus on two big things. We're going to quick in and out here. Obviously, a big day in sports, especially in the NFL. Myles Garrett trade, AJ Brown trade. We'll talk those things, obviously, to the biggest news in football. But we have an NBA Finals to talk about. We have a matchup between the San Antonio Spurs or the New York Knicks. And when one of those two teams wins, it doesn't matter which one wins. When one of those two teams wins, it'll be 8 straight years without a repeat champion, within that span. Obviously, from 15 on for a good amount of years, it was Warriors, Cavs, Warriors. And then when Toronto won in 2019, it kind of set a trend going forward of 7 straight years now going to be 8 years where a different team has won. 19 was Toronto, 20 was the Lakers, 21 was the Bucks, 22 was the Warriors, 23 Nuggets, 24 Celtics, 25 Thunder, and then this year 26 will be either the New York Knicks or the San Antonio Spurs. And so we'll talk about that matchup a little bit real quick, and then we will talk about this Myles Garrett trade. We will talk about this AJ Brown trade. What does it mean for both teams and the Hall? And, Browns fans, I know you're not going to be happy. Why are you not happy, or are you happy, or are you okay with it? I think some people are. I think everybody kind of understands the magnitude of why it did have to happen. Obviously, he is traded for Jared Verse, a 27 first-round pick, a 28 second-round pick, and a 29 third-round pick. So a pick for the next 3 years. Obviously, the 27 pick is money. That has a chance to be a really good player. Even the back end of the 27 draft is spectacular. I mean, there's going to be talent there. I think that Browns fans would be happier if you got 2 firsts for it. Dylan, friend of the show, friend of my life, my neighbor Dylan. You guys all know Dylan. Dylan said he would have been happier had it been 2 first-round picks. But a second's not bad, and then you get third on top of it. I know it's not what you want, but it's something. It's better than nothing if you're going to trade them. And is any other team offering that? The Rams are the only team that they say, screw those first-round picks. This felt inevitable, right, that he was going to get traded. When he signed that big contract last year, or 2 years ago, whenever it was, 2025, so last year, when he signed that contract, I think Browns fans knew that eventually they signed him to get paid, to give him his money that he's well-deserved. He is the single-season sack leader. He had a great season last year. The year they made the playoffs 2 years ago, had a really good season, was Defensive Player of the Year that year. But the future in Cleveland is not a Super Bowl team, and you guys want him to go get a Super Bowl. You want to see him be able to succeed to do that. And so I think that you knew it was coming. It was inevitable. But within the last, it seemed like day, there was kind of some smoke on if he's traded. The Rams were a team that popped up, and then obviously today, June 1st, that trade happens where he gets traded to the Rams for, what we said Verse in the picks. I don't think you could have got more for him. Maybe some other team was willing to. Maybe they sent him to where he would have preferred to play. It was between him or them and Dallas or them and whoever else. Maybe he wanted Los Angeles, and they kind of honored that by taking a little bit less of a deal. Jared Verse is a good player. He was a Rookie of the Year, and he was Rookie of the Year the year that he got drafted. So he is a good player. He is obviously just not Myles Garrett. 2024, he was Defensive Player of the Year, Rookie of the Year in 2024. Obviously, he's just not Myles Garrett. But you get him, you get the picks, and I like the 2027 first-round pick. And for the Browns, that's 2 of them now. You have your own, and you have the Rams. And I know it's going to be a later pick, but it's still something. It's still something that is a little bit better than nothing. And then obviously AJ Brown gets traded today also. This one was inevitable. This one everybody knew was going to happen. He was going to get traded to New England. There has been rumors of that since prior to the draft. The relationship between him and Jalen Hurts and the Eagles has just been sour. This last year and a half, all he does is complain and whine and complain and whine, complain and whine. He wanted out. They honored that. They got a 2027 fifth round pick and a 2028 first round pick. If I was the Eagles, I'd try to get the first round pick in 2027. But, the Patriots maybe weren't willing to do that. They got a first round pick for him, which I was a little bit shocked by. I really thought it was going to end up being, 2 2s or something. So the fact that it's a 5 and a 1. But A.J. Brown to the New England Patriots, you give Drake May another weapon. You give Vrabel, another big option for that offense. A.J. Brown, when he plays and he peaks, he's really good. It's just the fact of, can he do it without whining, without complaining, without causing drama? But he's back with Mike Vrabel, who he played for when he was in Tennessee. So we will see how that works out for them. But yeah, like I said, those two trades just to start the season, at this point in the offseason, we're big news, some big NFL news that we haven't had in a while. We didn't really talk schedule release, me and Scott, so this has been the first NFL thing since the draft, which has been now, 5 weeks, and so we have not talked to any NFL, so it is good to get some NFL going. We are 100 days from the kickoff of the regular season between the defending Super Bowl champs, Seattle Seahawks, hosting the Patriots, so we will get to see A.J. Brown, first game of the season, with his new team. That will be a lot of fun. I'm excited for football season. We're in the swing of it with high school football. We are really, really, really picking up, that time of the year this summer where we just get to go and enjoy it for a few hours every single day. Before we know it, it'll be August, and we'll be having 2 days, and your mini camps will be going on for everybody else, your training camps, and then the season will be here before we know it, both college, high school, and NFL. So just got to gear up for it. It will be here soon. It is fast approaching, and June is a lot of fun. You got a lot of grad parties. Like I said, we have our lifting a few hours every single day. This year, we get to coach our Galleon Tigers get to coach a high school all-star game, so that'll be a lot of fun. That is next week, and so maybe Scott and I will talk about a little bit next week how the players that we have. We'll know that Monday, just as everybody comes in. So looking forward to that. That will be a lot of fun. Before we talk New York Knicks, San Antonio Spurs, before we talk the NBA Finals, I think which is the biggest news. I mean, obviously, these trades are massive, but these trades will come and go. Championships live on forever. Before we get to that, let's just acknowledge, okay? We got a Dr. Pepper shirt on, okay? I am the king, Dr. Pepper, and we need Dr. Pepper sponsor. So all you people that see this, comment, tag Dr. Pepper. Let's get him sponsored this show. Let's get a little bit of cash rolling in. Maybe we get some nicer things around here. Better flag, maybe a nice green screen with all their stuff. But it only happens if we get a nice big sponsor, because the sponsors we have aren't cutting the checks, okay? So everybody tag Dr. Pepper for me. Let's get them sponsoring this show. It'd be nice. I mean, how fun, how cool would that be to have a official Sabo Standard podcast presented by Dr. Pepper? I mean, however Dr. Pepper wants me to phrase it, I will do it, okay? So tag them for us. Let's get them doing that for us. Okay, let's talk San Antonio Spurs. Let's talk New York Knicks. Both teams have been constructed very differently. The Spurs, from 1999, when they got Tim Duncan, Tim Duncan was not drafted in 1999. 97% sure. I should know stuff like this, but off the top of my head, he was drafted in 1997. But 1999, they obviously won the first championship of their 5. They win one in 03, 05, 07. And then again, 2014, that was their last one. Tim Duncan retires in 2016. Ginobili, Parker, all those guys just kind of disappear. They disappear. Age catches up, and they're gone. Even Popovich, just to the point of his life where he just couldn't stay healthy enough to be the head coach. And they have assembled this team with their head coach Mitch Johnson, with guys like obviously Victor Wembanyama, Stephon Castle, and Dylan Harper as kind of their big 3, right? They've got De'Aaron Fox via trade. They signed Bismack Biyombo. They signed Harrison Barnes. They got those guys. Devin Vessel. They have some really good guys on their team. They're not super deep, but they are young and they feel young. And when you watch them play, they feel young. Especially the Wemby, the Dylan Harper, the Stephon Castle, right? And then I saw this tweet, this Facebook post talking about the difference between Wembanyama, with his Spurs teams and LeBron early on in his career, right? LeBron, when he first got to Cleveland, like they did not have the picks in order to kind of build post LeBron, high lottery type picks. They did not have that post LeBron. They were just too good early on. Whereas the Spurs, even when Wemby, this is not a knock on Wemby. I think Wemby's phenomenal. I think Wemby has the tools, and Wemby has the style of play and all the intangibles that someday he can be the greatest player of all time. I think that is possible. We talked about this last week. LeBron fans, LeBron GOAT enthusiasts, we believe that he can get past someday, and that happens by the things that Wemby's doing now. However, Wemby's rookie year, they just still weren't good enough to where they weren't going to have a top pick, and they were able to take Stephon Castle. And then last year, Wemby gets hurt. He missed. He only played 46 games last year before he had the blood clot incident. Now, knock on Wemby, life happens, right? But they have a bad record again last year, and they get the second pick, and they get Dylan Harper. And so they were able to build back-to-back 3 years of really, really, really good talent. They have to obviously make the right decision on who to take, Stephon Castle, Dylan Harper, and those back-to-back years. And because they did that, they have a really good, talented team. And they played physical. And they played physical with the Thunder, which no team has done over the last 2 years. They finally realized, like, okay, whatever, they're going to call it. They're going to call it. And when they played physical with them, I don't think in Game 6 and 7 they really called the ticky-tack stuff. Shea was on the ground just as much as normal, but he wasn't getting those calls because the Spurs weren't complaining about when the calls happened. They just played basketball, which got them to this point of being able to got them to this point where they're playing in the NBA Finals. The Knicks, on the other hand, they weren't drafted. They were built differently. They were built in a different way, and they don't fault teams the way they got built. Jalen Brunson obviously signs as a free agent a good years back. They trade for Mikal Bridges. They trade for Karl Anthony Towns. Trade for OG Anunoby. Josh Hart, I believe, was signed with them or was traded to him, a good number of years ago. Mitchell Robinson was a guy that they drafted. But that team too, like the continuity of them, that's their core over the last 2 years. And they fired Thibodeau last year. They hired Mike Brown this year. The Knicks were my team out of the East all season long. I said this when I did my NBA draft episode, before Scott joined us, that I really liked the Knicks this year. And the Cavs I had, I believe, it's the Eastern Conference Finals team too. I don't think that their loss versus the Knicks was a knock on the Cavs. I think the Knicks are just that good. And right now they are firing all cylinders. They have had a lot of time off. I think for them to beat the Spurs, they have to win Game 1. I think it's almost a must-win, or it's got to be close. It's got to be competitive. Obviously, they stole that game away from the Cavs a few weeks ago. That Game 1 was it wasn't obviously the Cavs blew a big fourth quarter lead, but the Knicks were just relentless and they played hard the entire time. They can do that again for Game 1 and steal that one. I think that's big, and that's exactly what they need in the series. I think the Knicks have a good chance to win this whole thing. I think the Spurs have a good chance to win this whole thing. I think the Knicks need to win Game 1 because right now the Spurs are just playing with like house money. They just beat Thunder. They just beat the defending champs. But the Knicks at the same time too, like they beat the Cavs and was all business going forward. And I think that they know that they are 4 wins away from a championship. I trust Jalen Brunson. I trust Karl Towns. I trust OG to play hard and play good defense. And I think if Anunoby and Karl Anthony Towns can play good defense on Victor Wembanyama and just slow him down a little bit, I really think that the Knicks have a good shot. I really like this Knicks team a lot. I'm rooting for the New York Knicks. They haven't had a championship in a very, very long time. The last time they had NBA championship, a guy by the name of Phil Jackson was on their team, and that was 1973. So it has been 53 years for these New York Knicks. Phil Jackson, Jerry Lucas, Walt Frazier, Willis Reed. I mean, it's a long time. Many people don't even know who was on that team. So it is cool for them to have an opportunity to go and win this. The Spurs have had 5 since 1999. And so as far as rooting for a team to get one, I don't hate the Knicks like a lot of people hate the Knicks. I'm rooting for the Knicks. I just hope that we get 7 really good games of basketball. I'm going to predict that the Knicks win in 6. I think the Knicks do get it done. I think that they win that first home game or first game on the road versus San Antonio. They steal that home court advantage. I think that they win in 6. I didn't text Scott much. Didn't ask him his thoughts. Figured we do this episode on our own. But he did say to me, he said that he's got Spurs in 6. He said Spurs in 6. He thinks it is a bad matchup for the New York Knicks. He doesn't think anybody's going to be able to stop Wembanyama and be able to keep up with them. I think, on the other hand, I think that the Knicks, their last 10 games that they've won in the playoffs, the last 2 against the Hawks, and then their sweep against the Sixers, and their sweep against the Cavs, I think their offense is as good as anybody's right now. And I think Karl Towns, I think OG can play good enough defense to just limit Wembanyama and their ability to get the offense rolling around him. I think they're going to play really, really, really. It is not a good knock against the Spurs. They're going to get theirs at some point in time. Wemby is that good. Stephon Castle, those guys are that good, right? And that team, they're not going to get to be there forever. The salary cap rules, obviously, like the Thunder, who just won championship last year, they're going to be hard pressed this year. Going into this next season, what are you going to do with Chet? What are you going to do with Jalen Williams? Obviously, Jalen Williams did not play much this postseason at all. This whole season was ouchy, and they played just fine without him. Can they offload his salary, which is a lot of money? He's rightfully got his money, but when that kicks in, along with Shea's unbelievable contract, they're going to be so hard capped that they're going to have to move on. And you saw Chet, you saw what happened with him against Wembanyama. I mean, Daddy Wemby, like he owned him the entire time. Can Chet get his confidence back? A lot of people are saying like he's the next Ben Simmons. So just the basketball that he played is gone. Like his confidence, everything is shot. So that'll be interesting to see what they do. Even the Knicks, like they just this team is going to look different over the next 2 years. So you have a chance to win one right now with the guys you have, with the Karl-Anthony Towns, with the OG, with the Josh Hart. This is your opportunity. This is your chance to really go out there and get it. I'm rooting for those Villanova guys. Like I said, I got Knicks in 6. Scott has Spurs in 6. Make sure you comment. Who do you think? Who do you think is going to win this? Like I said, I hope it's 7 good games. We get a full 7-game series. We have only had 2 Game 7s in the NBA Finals since 2016 when the Cavs and Warriors. Obviously, we had it last year when the Pacers should have won that, man. If Halliburton doesn't get hurt, I truly believe that the Pacers win that game. He was absolutely nuclear before he got hurt. He was playing out of his mind, and the Achilles snaps, and the Pacers played well without him for a good 3 quarters. Even the first half. By the time the second half hit, you could just tell that they were tired. They just didn't have it in them anymore. And then the Thunder were able to get it done and pull away and get their championship. And again, this year we will have 8 different champs in a row. For the most in NBA history prior to this was 5, maybe 6 one time. But it's unprecedented what's going on. As a fan of basketball and a fan of sports, like I don't always love dynasties, but dynasties are good for a sport. It's also good when every year you think you have a chance to win it, and when 8 teams win it in a row, 8 different teams win it in a row, I think that makes teams really have a thought that this is the year to get it done. And that trend can continue. If the Knicks win it this year and the Spurs next year go and win it, that's 9 in a row, right? Maybe the Cavs next year, like whatever offseason moves they make, maybe the Cavs are able to get it done. But think about the Thunder. Think about how close the Thunder were to making it back to the finals. The Thunder, I just talked about all the crap that they have to deal with. What if they can go get Giannis this year? What if they can unload Chet and Jalen Williams and whatever millions of picks that they have to go get Giannis? And they get rid of some bigger salaries, multiple bigger salaries to take back one big salary. I don't think Giannis is the defining piece for the Thunder. Obviously, they're really good without him, but if they can go get him and nobody else can offer what what they can, because you got Jalen, because you have Chet, because you have all those picks. The moment they win it next year, that streak ends. That 8 consecutive different teams ends. I think it's really cool for basketball. I don't know what everybody else thinks. I think it's cool for basketball. But at the same time, too, like dynasties mean that some teams are really good at what they're doing and building these teams. And dynasties create enemies and create villains. And sports need villains sometimes. Obviously, LeBron was a villain for so long. KD was a villain for so long. If you were anti-Lakers, Kobe, Shaq, Jordan is a villain to a lot of teams in the 90s that never got shit because Jordan won 6, owned the 90s with 6 titles. People can think Jordan's the greatest, but he was a villain with what was going on and how he was doing that. That's also good for the sport of basketball. It's good for all sports. So it's an interesting, thing going on. 8 champs in 8 years. and we'll see if after this year it continues to build and is to 9. That is all for this week. We are very short. We are very sweet. After we're sitting here at 20 minutes, so we are excited to get this done. Scott will be back next week. We will also have a special guest next week. We will talk some soccer next week. Some FIFA World Cup is happening. I don't know anything about FIFA, but our guest surely does, and he's the only person I know that knows anything about FIFA. So we're looking forward to having him on, having Scott back. We'll probably take a week off here and there and over the next 2 months. But once August gets here, we are full-fledged into football season. It is an exciting time. Enjoy your summer. It is here. We are off. No, teachers are done. Kids are done. Enjoy this time. Before you know it, blink of an eye, we'll be back to school season, and we will be ready to go with all those fun things. If you made this far, appreciate you. Make sure you follow. Make sure you like. Make sure you subscribe. All those fun housekeeping things that we don't talk about when Scott's on because he's too busy blabbing about other crap. So, with all that being said, Jamal, take us out.
Because if you go piss like a puppy, stay on the porch and let the big dogs eat.